Well, hello.
Hi, friends.
We've seen so many couples who struggle with planning the timeline for their wedding day, so we figured we would make a video explaining the two main ways that you can plan for your day and your timeline for your big day to make it run as smooth as possible.
So the first one is traditional timeline, and the second one's gonna be your first look timeline.
And with the traditional, we'll run with that first, and we'll explain more of the first look stuff afterwards. But we'll start with the traditional. We'll start with the groom and where they're getting, all the groomsmen and where they're getting ready. This is where we'll get photos of the tux, of the shoes, all of that fun stuff. And sometimes there's a gift or a letter that the bride will get for the groom, and your photographer will get photos of that because those create for super nice emotional moments. And typically we're there, your photographer will be there for anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes-ish. And from there, we'll go over to the brides.
So then when we're done at the groom's house, then we'll head over to the brides together, and then we'll take photos of the girls getting ready. Typically we're there for a little bit longer. There's just more going on. So we'll take photos of the details. Usually we get a nice display of the invitation and a few florals. We'll get photos of the girls getting ready. If you guys are wearing robes, then we'll get photos of the girls with their makeup done and the robes. If you're doing, again, letters or gifts, we'll get photos of the bride opening that. And then if there's anybody who's putting on like a boutonniere or a corsage, we'll get the bride doing that.
If you're doing the traditional timeline, you're going to go from the bridal photos, getting ready photos, to the ceremony. And this is where your photographer is going to get photos of the sign you have, like pick a seat down the side, or any florals that your florist will have beautifully done for your ceremony, and the photos of people arriving and your guests arriving to the ceremony who haven't seen each other for the first time in a while, or they're just excited to see each other, or some friends who are just reconnecting. And those are really cool, candid moments that your photographer should get for you in your wedding day before you arrive, because this way when you look back at your photos, you're gonna see like, oh wow, that's so cool. I didn't even know that was happening, and you have photos of that, and that's really cool. So once you get to the ceremony, we're gonna get photos of all the guys walking in, all the guys arriving, and your photographer will then get photos of all the bridesmaids walking down the aisle, and then even you walking down the aisle with your father or whoever you're walking down the aisle with, and then photos of throughout your ceremony. And as you finish your ceremony up, your photographer will get photos of you guys walking down the aisle as husband and wife. And right after your ceremony, it's usually the best time to get your family photos done there.
So the reason why doing your family photos right after the ceremony is good is because everybody is right there. Nobody's had a chance to scatter, or if you wanted to do your family photos at the reception, people have typically started drinking or eating. You can't find Uncle Joe, you don't know where he went. So that way everybody's in the same area. It's especially good if you have little kids or older grandparents who aren't as mobile, and then you just get them done right away. So we typically start with the biggest family section you have. It might be cousins, aunts and uncles, grandparents. Then we'll start paring it down to grandparents and parents and your siblings, and just your parents and your siblings, maybe just you and your parents, and then any combination within that you need to do.
And pro tip, make sure you give your photographer a family list and not just grandma, because your photographer doesn't know who grandma is. If you say like James Smith or Uncle John or Uncle Tom, everyone's got an Uncle John, so give them the, like, don't just put Uncle John, say John Smith, right? This way your photographer, they can be the ones who are yelling it nice and loud for you, finding all the family members while you get to enjoy your day stress-free, because nobody wants to be stressed out on your wedding day. Nobody wants that.
And then when your photographer is done with family photos, they'll go with you to your next location. Was typically a park or a forest, anywhere with greenery or shade is perfect. And then they'll do a group photo of your whole entire bridal party and you two, and then photos of the groom side, the groom individually, and then photos of the bride side, and then the bride with each girl individually. And then we'll typically go off with just the bride and the groom, so you have a couple minutes to spend time together.
Yeah, and that's so nice to be able to just take photos of just you two, and the rest of the wedding party can hang back, because your day is going to go so fast. And like in the morning, it feels like a game of hurry up and wait. But then all of a sudden, you're like, whoa, we're married, and now we're doing photos, and the day's half over. So this is a really nice chance for you guys just to relax and just take a breather while your photographer takes photos of you. It's a really, really nice way of doing it. From there, you'll go to your reception and enjoy your cocktail hour as your photographer takes lots of candid photos of all the guests who are there, and people interacting, and you interacting with your guests as well. And then after your cocktail hour is over, what most people will do is they'll do all their entrances and people dancing in, all that fun stuff, and your photographer will get lots of photos of that. And we found about 50% of people that we've worked with will do their first dances, like their first dance, the mother-son dance, the father-daughter dance. They'll do that all right at the beginning. This way it's out of the way. Especially if you're someone who doesn't love a lot of attention on you, this is a great way of doing it because everyone's already standing up, half the room can't really see you. It's a really good way of getting those out of the way.
And when you're done entrances, then your photographer will get photos of your speeches throughout dinner. And if you haven't done those 3 dances in the beginning, we'll get photos of that happening as well as any other events you have planned during dinner.
And then even throughout the dinner, if you're at a reception venue that you can go outside and take pictures at sunset, that's a great time to do that. Because like we said, your wedding day goes by so fast. So even though you had that moment a little bit earlier where it was just you two at sunset, the lighting is just so beautiful. That's how you get like all those photos that look like they're straight out of the Nicholas Sparks movie. So if you can, ask your photographer to go for even just 10, 15 minutes and to take some photos outside, because those are the photos you're gonna be printing out. You're gonna be putting in albums. You're gonna be using as the thank you cards for your wedding afterwards. And it's also just another moment where you can just take in the day together and just have that moment of saying, wow, we're married. This is really amazing. This is a great day. Because guests want to be talking to you the whole time. And so it just gives you a chance to breathe, which is really nice.
And when your photographer and you are done getting those beautiful photos outside, come inside for the rest of your speeches if you have any left, and then head into the dancing portion of the night.
And typically your photographer is only going to need to take the first few songs to take photos. Because after that, some people start getting some drinks in them and people tend to get sloppier as the night goes on. But just to avoid photos of all of that, usually your photographer only needs to be there for the first few songs. If you're going to do the first look timeline, simply all you're going to do is take that photo portion and just put it before the ceremony. So after you do your guys getting ready, your girls getting ready, then you're going to do your first look where you see each other, and that's just when you have the groom facing one way and the bride comes up behind him, taps on the shoulder, and then there's this beautiful moment where you guys see each other for the first time and you realize, whoa, we're getting married. This is super exciting, and it's usually pretty emotional. It's great to capture. Your photographer will love it. And then you do all your photos, and then you do your ceremony right after. That's really the only difference between the first look and the traditional timeline.
And a huge benefit of having a first look is that you get to spend that time of a cocktail hour with your guests. There you have it. That's 2 ways you can plan your wedding day timeline, from more traditional to a first look.
And if you still have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, email, whatever's easiest for you. And we've also included 2 different timelines, from a first look one as well as a traditional one, examples, and ones that you can fill out for yourself to make wedding planning as smooth as possible. Well, we will see you soon.
Bye.